Hi, I'm GP Burden and welcome to my channel. If you don't know who I am, I'm an independent author and a professional writer-editor of 10 years. And today I want to talk to you about something pretty big that's just happened. Something that, honestly, I think a lot of you might relate to or are heading towards even if you don't know it just yet. My day job was made redundant. Now I know that you might think that's terrible. You might be asking, are you okay? What are you going to do? And here's my answer. Even though it doesn't feel good for this to be dropped on me, and there are very real concerns about financial security, I'm great. Actually, I'm more optimistic than I've been in years. Because losing this job doesn't feel like a door closing. It feels like a wall is finally coming down. For a long time, that job was the thing I told myself I needed. It was my safety net, my fallback. It was the responsible choice. And look, I'm not going to pretend that the security wasn't real, because it was. Bills are real, and it's important to have stability. And that's the trend that people keep following. When my father was young, he wanted to be a history teacher, but his dad convinced him that that wasn't secure enough or reliable enough. So my dad went into finance. He worked in banking and insurance since he was 18 years old. And then one day, he was made redundant. He was in his late 50s by that point, and he knew his job prospects were slim. So he started his own business, one that had nothing to do with finance or insurance. It was something that he truly loved. Something where he got to make something and see a tangible result. Where he could feel proud of what he was doing because he was actually doing something on his terms and for himself. But before he changed his life, the sad reality is that what his father had done to him, my father inadvertently did to me. He discouraged my artistic nature and encouraged security. He pushed me to follow the safe path. It was out of love, and I, of course, listened to him, but it wasn't right for me. And now, 10 years on, I find myself in the exact same situation as he did, only 20 years sooner. And this is not unique to my family. This intergenerational pressure to become something we're not for the sake of traditional success is a very real experience. But here's what else is real. Every hour I spent at that desk was an hour I wasn't writing, wasn't creating. Every Monday morning I gave to someone else's vision was a Monday I wasn't building my own. Every word I wrote from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, were words that pushed someone else's agenda and kept me from living my own. Traditional employment kept me in a holding pattern, not because the work was hard, but because it was designed for someone else's life, not mine. Now, I want to talk about why this moment, right now in 2026, is actually one of the most extraordinary times in history to be an independent creator. We are currently living through a massive shift in how work gets done. And yes, AI is at the center of it. And I know that AI makes a lot of writers nervous or angry to think about. It makes a lot of creatives feel threatened. I get that, I really do. But here's how I see it. AI didn't take my job. Automation and economic restructuring did what they've always done. They disrupted the conventional. And in doing so, it cleared a path for something that conventional structures were never going to hand me anyway. The freedom to go all in on my own dreams. The things that matter to me. The tools available to independent creators right now are genuinely otherworldly. I can research faster, edit smarter, manage my publishing workflow, reach readers directly, run a one-person creative business in a way that simply was not possible even 10 years ago. The barrier between having a creative vision and executing it has never been smaller. And that's not a threat to writers who have something real to say. That's a real opportunity. And this brings me to the real reason I felt like making this video today. Because I know some of you watching this are sitting with a dream that you keep putting off. Maybe it's writing a book, starting your own YouTube channel, launching something creative that's entirely yours. and you're just waiting. Waiting for the right time, waiting until you have more money saved, or your kids are older, the mortgage is paid off, or work calms down, or the world feels just a little bit more certain. And I want to say this to you as kindly but directly as I can. The perfect time is not going to come. It was never going to come. Because the perfect time isn't a moment you find, it's a decision you have to make. And sometimes life makes that decision for you, like it just did for me. But you don't have to wait for life to force your hand, just to give yourself permission to do what you actually want. You just have to decide that what you want is worth the discomfort of starting before you actually feel ready. Because the truth of it is, and 10 years of professional writing has taught me this, you will never feel ready. If you wait for perfection, you'll be waiting forever. So that's where I am. No day job, full focus on my writing, my books, and this channel, which I'm building as a real home for independent authors, aspiring writers, and anyone else with a dream of building a creative life on their own terms. If that sounds like something you need, I'd love to have you here. Subscribe and leave a comment below, especially if you're in the middle of your own leap of faith moment. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.